Action.
Hello everybody, it is Marcodi Live Friday, and it is August the something, I don't know, it's first week of August. August the 3rd. Thanks for coming, and hey, while we're doing this video, please share it, like it, comment so that other people can see it as well. And we appreciate any of the love we get on social media. Also, I want to tell you that we have this $25 gift card today to Guitar Center. And if what we're going to do is, if you like, comment, or share today's live video on social media, it can be Facebook or Instagram or whatever we're on. Are we on Facebook and Instagram? We're on both.
Yep.
So on any of those, we'll put all the people that like, comment, or share while we're live into a hat, and you could be the winner of this gift card. Okay, so today we're doing a little bit of an amp shootout. For years, actually almost since the very start of Marcodi and the Harpejji, we've used the Roland KC-350 as the standard amplifier for voicing all Harpejjis. You might ask, why do we use a keyboard amplifier as the standard? Well, with the K24, it's a 5-octave range, and it's a big range, and you need to have the high highs and the low lows that a keyboard amp provides in order to work nicely with the Harpejji K24. And because we needed to work for all the Harpejjis, that is what we selected for all these years. On the G16 and the U12, they don't play as deep as the K24. They don't play the bass, the deep bass, and so therefore you don't really need that kind of an amplifier for those instruments. But nonetheless, that has been our standard. Now, why are we trying a different amplifier out? Well, it turns out that this is a discontinued amplifier. They've been making that for years, and it's been replaced by, I believe, the Roland KC-400, if I'm not mistaken. But we figured we'd try out this new Behringer amp because this has come on the market since that KC-350 has been on the market, and I've been wanting to try out this amplifier because it has some pretty cool features to it. There is, in particular, it has onboard effects. I believe that Behringer bought out Clark Technic, if I'm not mistaken. And if you zoom in here, you'll see that there's a little effects module on this amplifier that gives you 99 different presets. So you just turn this little knob here, and that gives you all the presets. And once you've got the effect number you want, you hit the button. But these are comparable amps. The Roland actually costs, if you buy the KC-400, it's $550, and if you buy this one today, it's $450. So this is actually $100 cheaper. The reason it interested me is because it's less expensive than the Roland by $100. It's actually lighter weight. If you lift it up, there's a considerably lighter weight to this amp than the Roland. Size-wise, they're similar. This one's a little bit wider, but the Roland is a little bit deeper. So I would call them comparable. I do like the handles on this better. It's got actually 3 handles, 2 big handles on the side, and then 1 handle on the top, which makes it a little bit more convenient if you were to lift it into the trunk of your car. This also has more EQ capability than the Roland. Roland has a simple low, medium, high EQ, whereas the Behringer gives you a full 7-band EQ. And if you're a person that likes to really dial things into your liking, then I think you'll find better control here on the Behringer. If you're somebody that just doesn't like a lot of bells and whistles and knobs to turn, then maybe you prefer just having low, medium, and high. But that's the difference. They both, I believe, have 4 inputs. They both have a mic input. They both have main outs. They both let you do stereo linking, so you can buy 2 of them and have left and right, where you send left to one and right to the other channel. And they both have headphone outputs, and they both have a feature which is called shape. And to my ears, what the shape is doing is it's raising the EQ of the low lows and the high highs, emphasizing and almost giving it a little bit of a smile curve. Also today, while you're zoomed in there, I want to show you this Korg Tuner. We're playing with this new Korg Pitch Black Tuner. And this a lot too. The thing I like about this is it's got a really, really big display, and it gives you that. So when you're close to the pitch, it gives you that green. I'll detune it here. When you get close to the pitch, it gives you the green, and then if you're not quite in tune, you use the yellow for fine tuning. So once you have yellow on the both on the left and the right, then you're really fine tuned. And in the shop, keep in mind, we tune up 3-4 Harpejis a day. Sometimes we might tune a Harpejji 8 times a day between the various steps that we do in setup. And so it's very important to us that we can be very efficient and very quick, and we find that this tuner works really well for that. And that was just an aside, but we used to use this one. For years we used the Polytune TC Electronic, and I still recommend it. It's still fine. But it has some features in there that are totally useless on Harpejji, like it'll tune all 6 strings of a guitar at one time in a certain mode, but that's not especially, that's nothing you'd ever want to do on the Harpejji. And then the other reason I'm not crazy about the Polytune compared to the Korg Pitch Black is that it will show a red bar next to the green bar really close, and sometimes it's hard to tell if that red bar is lit up. But anyway, either of them work fine. We're using this now as the standard in our shop. So if you have a Harpejji and you're looking for a good tuner, I do recommend the Korg Pitch Black. And while I mentioned that tuner, I want to tell you that we have a special offer today only, for the next 24 hours, let's just say, that if you buy a Harpejji K24 or a Harpejji G16 in the next 24 hours, sorry past customers, but this is just for the next 24 hours, we're going to give you a free Behringer KXD15 amp. This amp we're going to send you for free. We're going to drop ship it to you. If you buy a U12 within the next 24 hours, then we're going to send you a free Korg Pitch Black tuner. Okay? So again, G16 or K24 purchase in the next 24 hours, free Behringer amp, and you'll get to hear that today. If you buy a U12 in the next 24 hours, free Korg Pitch Black tuner.
That is a keyboard amp, correct?
Okay, and this is a keyboard amplifier, but it's also good for PA. It's also good for if you're maybe like an acoustic guitar player, for example, that sings. Like maybe you're doing a coffee shop or a restaurant, and you're a one-man band kind of a thing. You can plug your vocal microphone into channel 1. You can plug your acoustic guitar into channel 2. You can use it for reverb. It's a really great it's a great thing to have. You know, I can understand why Roland does not put effects on keyboard amps. Typically, with keyboards these days, the effects are on board the keyboard, right? You dial up a piano patch and it's already got the reverb, that kind of thing. So that makes sense to me. However, it does have a mic input on it. They both have mic inputs on them, and whoever wants to hear microphone, somebody singing without any reverb at all, right? You want at least a little bit of reverb. So I think that makes it tremendously more versatile. And I also think that's really nice for the person that, like, maybe you have your Harpejji in your living room, your music room, and you don't want a bunch of guitar pedals on the floor and wires everywhere. You want to have a nice, clean looking, presentable setup, and therefore you can completely avoid the whole pedal game, if you'd like, with the Behringer by the fact that it has the onboard effects. Okay, so let's just turn all the effects off. Okay, let's make sure they're all flat, all EQ at 12 o'clock. Lane is here, going to help us surf between the two amps. We're going to have the shape button off on both amps. They both have the same shaping EQ feature. Turn them off, EQ's flat, and let's just give you a little bit of flavor. Oh, by the way, guess who this is? Has anybody seen Corey Henry play the Harpejji? Well, this is Lily. We have Lily, we're working on Lily. There was a little bit of an accident on an airline, and we had to repair something on the instrument, so we got it back, and we got Lily back in perfect working order. There's only 2 Harpejjis that I'm aware of that are named, and the first one was Stevie Wonder's latest G16, which is Lula May, who he named after his mother. and then you got Lily, which is named by Corey Henry. So that is going to be our test bed for today. We're going to connect Lily to both amplifiers individually and let you just get a little flavor of the differences. Okay? So we're now in the Behringer, and I'm just going to... Okay, so that's the Behringer. Okay, now let's go into the Roland. They both have different tones. Now, for a product like this, both manufacturers, I believe, are aiming for a very flat response, a very, very clean response that, when you plug a digital piano into it, it should sound pretty true to form, right? You're not, with a keyboard amp, you're not really trying to color the sound like you would with a guitar amp. And by the way, you can use a guitar amp on the G16 and on the U12. It'll sound, it'll handle all of the note range of either of those instruments. It's all about a matter of taste at that point. But anyway, even though both of these amplifiers are designed to be true to form and not really coloring the sound, you can tell they do sound a little bit different. So the Roland, to me, it sounded a little more nasally. It has maybe a little bit more on the highs. Behringer, so I would call the Roland a little bit more aggressive sounding. Let's go back to the Behringer. I think the Behringer in my ear sounded a little bit more mellow. I think the Behringer is a little bit more quiet, so why don't we turn the volume up just a touch on that. So I don't know, just based on the Harpejji, I don't know which of those is more flat, more accurate. I guess we'd have to really play like a digital piano or something like that through that. But that's not the point of what we're doing here. The point of this is, what does the Harpejji sound like through it? Now, I would really like to play a K24 through this today to show you the differences, and maybe we'll do that in the future, but I don't have a completed K24 right now in the shop. So we're going to use the G16, and that's fine. Okay, so that was strumming. Let's just go to a different type of a playing. I'll go to tapping. Okay, now let's do the Roland. Totally different sound. Very, very different sounds. I would definitely say that the Roland is more nasally. So let's see. Let's go and put on the shape button now that we're in the Roland. So without, okay, that's with the shape button. Without, okay. Now with. So you can tell the highs got really, really high. And by the way, I've got the EQ wide open on this. The tone knob on the Harpejji is very bright. So I'm going to keep it where it was. So that's pretty bright. And then we don't use the shape button when we do Harpejji voicing with the Roland. And so let's take that off, but I wanted to hear it anyway. It makes it even more aggressive. Let's go to the Behringer and let's hear the shape button on that. Now that's a lot more pleasant, actually. I actually think the shape button is more useful on the Behringer for Harpejji than the shape button is on the Roland. You might use that, like, it almost sounds like, sometimes we use the TC Electronics body res. I'm trying to find that here in our drawer of pedals. Can't find it, but it's TC Electronics makes the body res pedal designed for acoustic guitars that have piezo pickups, and that gives it kind of a nice, brilliant acoustic sound. And I would compare the shape button on the Behringer to almost like with and without the TC Electronics body res. It's just a little bit of brilliance, a little bit of emphasis. Okay, So, do we have any effects on this right now?
No.
Okay, so let's turn on the reverb number 3. I like reverb number 3 on the Behringer. Maybe it needs to be turned up. There we go. Hope you can hear that. I know live video, it doesn't always have the best fidelity in the world, but... Okay, can you hear that? Okay. So that's a really nice reverb. I mean, we've used a lot of different reverbs over the years, and I gotta tell you, that's a nice sounding reverb. It's very very warm sounding, very useful. It has a ton. One thing I will complain about, if you hand me that white paper for me. So there's a whole list of effects. There's 100 effects on board this Behringer, and one complaint I did have, it's a minor complaint, but I couldn't find the effects list easily. It was not in the manual for the amp, and it didn't come in the product. But digging around on their website, I was able to find it, and we can help you find it too, or we can send it to you if you would like to see. But there's a section of 29 different reverbs. There's a section of early reflections and delays, which has another, I don't know, let's say another 25 sounds. A bunch of modulation effects, and then combinations of delay, chorus, flanger, and reverb. And then there's a whole special effects thing that's got LFO filters and talk boxes and distortions. Not crazy about the distortions that are on board there, but all the other effects I think are pretty cool. It has an octaver. Let's go to effect number 75. This is pretty cool. What this does is it plays one octave below what you're actually playing, so it's mixing the actual Harpejji sound with one octave below the Harpejji sound. So I thought that was pretty cool, especially cool for a G16, and especially cool to show you the low end, right? Normally a C2 wouldn't be that deep, but I don't know if it's coming through on your social media there, but that's actually C1 because it's playing C1 and C2 at the same time. Okay. Let's see, what else? We're in the middle of the video here, so I wanted to remind you, don't forget, got the gift card. Anybody that likes, shares, or comments on social media, your name's going to go in a hat. Has to be while we're live. And the winner's going to get this $25 gift certificate to Guitar Center. Again, we have an offer today. If you buy a Harpejji in the next 24 hours, and it's a G16 or a K24, we're going to give you a free Behringer amp worth $450 at retail. If you buy a U12 in the next 24 hours, we're going to give you a free Korg pitch black tuner, the one that we showed earlier. Okay? So, anyway, so that was the octaver that we were playing with. Okay? What else? Let's do another effect. How about like a flanger or something like that?
Flanger, of course.
What else we got on there?
We got some cool delays.
Some delays? Okay, let's try that out. Okay, so that's effect number 21, and that's a spring reverb. A little bit of a different tone. So anyway, I think I'm actually considering using this in the future as our standard. I want to get a little bit more experience with it, and I want to you know, put it through its paces. But so far, aside from the fact that it didn't come with an effects list, I think it's a winner. I wanted to talk about overall maximum volume, because there's this kind of thing where people say this and that about how many watts an amp has, but there doesn't seem to be like an agreed upon standard on how realistic that estimate of wattage is. And so let's just, I'd like to just turn the volume all the way up. Turn the effects down, and let's turn the volume all the way up on the channel volume also, and the master volume. I'll try to be quiet here. I mean, that's really loud, and I mean, I don't know if you ever need to be that loud. Okay, let's do the same thing on the Roland and get a feel for that. So I can tell that the Roland is louder. It's a little bit louder. You can also kind of tell that the hiss is more, and that's probably because it is a louder amplifier. And I think if you go on there on the website that has both products, you'll see that this one claims to have a higher wattage than this one, but this one is actually louder. But this is plenty loud, and it's as loud as you ever need it to be. And I think one of the reasons might be that it's actually bi-amped. And so what bi-amping means is that you have two separate amplifiers, one for the woofer and then one for the horn. Okay, and I don't believe that the Roland KC-350 makes that claim. I think it's the same amplifier, so they must have an internal passive crossover that uses the same amp channel, on the same amp channel for that one. But this one is bi-amped, and the nice thing about bi-amping is that you don't need a passive crossover. Passive crossovers are not quite as, typically not as precise in their cutting out of frequencies as active EQ would be in a bi-amp situation like you have with the Behringer. Are there any questions that I can answer?
There is. Has
Okay.
anyone tried a SansAmp with a Harpejji? Is that how you say it?
SansAmp.
SansAmp.
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, I lent that to my son, who's playing bass guitar now. I would have pulled it out of the drawer to show you. But yeah, the SansAmp is a pretty cool little tool, and it's almost like a direct box for electric instruments that are typically amplified and with a microphone. So on stage, typically you're playing guitar. If you're a guitar amp, put a mic on it that goes through the PA. If you don't have that, then you go into the SansAmp. Yeah, that works nicely with the Harpejji K24 in particular. And I have used it in the past, and it does have some nice EQ features on it, and they make good stuff, and I like it.
Okay.
Other questions?
Well, not a question, but Dan Nation said, I like the new Boss S1 Pro, but I get a lot of hiss going directly into it. Actually, there isn't a question from Susan. Have you tried Harpejji with Roland KC-110, 30 watts on battery, 20 watts?
Have not tried that one, but there is the larger model up. There's a larger model of the KC-350 that has, I believe, two 12-inch woofers. And that, at the time, I think it was called the KC-550 or something like that. And that's similar, but it's a lot louder, and it has more bass even than the KC-350. we're also going to try the latest Roland amps, and maybe to make this a more fair comparison, we should have brought in the latest and greatest Roland amp, but this has been the standard, so this is really the thing that we need to compare it to, because for 10 years or more we've been using this exact amp, this exact model. So that's why I think it was important for me to do this comparison, and I wanted to share that with you. But yeah, I mean, I definitely like this Behringer, and I will say, so let's talk about the brand, okay? Behringer has certainly gotten some knocks over the years about being a copycat brand, okay? For years, they would come out with products comparable to, say, Mackie and other products, and they were one for one, pretty much delivering all of the same features, and in some cases, like down to the detail. So for years and years, Behringer took a lot of knocks for that. And I gotta tell you, the brand has really transformed a lot in the last 5-10 years. They've really started to stop doing that, and they've started to, for example, there's no product that does this. I cannot find any product on the market that has this feature set. Okay, so this must be a unique Behringer-owned design. They're not trying to knock anybody off with this, and it's a really good value proposition. They've always been, their success has, they were one of the first to China, and so they've always been a value brand where you're really getting a lot of bang for the buck, and that's still the case. But I'm really excited about the fact that today Behringer is really branching out and doing their own designs. They're adding their own feature set, and this is a really compelling set of features for not just the Harpejji, but for a lot of different situations. In particular, if you're singing and playing an instrument at the same time, I really think this is a compelling option for you. Any other questions?
Brad Peleg asked what causes the hiss.
So whenever electronics are idling, you're always going to have, any piece of electronics is going to have hiss inherent in it. Electric guitars have a lot of hiss. Harpejji has a little bit of hiss. Keyboards, things like that, they have some hiss. But when electronics are just sitting there idling, there are RF signals in the world. They're going through our bodies right now. Radio signals are passing through us, and they're just around. And electronics are always going to pick up, some amount of that. And the best electronics, they have the least amount of that, and they will you'll have good what's called signal to noise, like how loud your actual instrument sound is relative to that noise floor. We do our best to keep the hiss down as much as possible with the Harpejji. And another question?
Why only keyboard amp? Why not guitar? Yeah.
For the Harpejji?
For the Harpejji.
Okay. So again, if you're playing the Harpejji K24, it has really deep bass strings. Okay, it goes down to A0, which is a whole step below the lowest note on not a 4-string guitar, but a 5-string bass guitar. So it's really deep, and then 5 octaves above that. If you tried to play through a guitar amp, you're just not going to get the real strong fundamental of the bass notes. Okay, so keyboard amps are designed to play A0. A0 is the lowest note on a piano, okay? And so if you're replicating a digital piano, then you need an amp that can handle the low lows. That's why keyboard amp. Again, you can use a guitar amp fine with the G16 or the D12, but definitely do not recommend a guitar amp on the Harpejji K24. Okay? Any other questions?
Any recommended amp to run both bass as a bass guitar and treble strings with separate effects?
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, if you really want to dial in and get two really strong sounds, you could use a bass guitar amplifier on your K24 bass strings, and then a guitar amplifier on the treble strings. And I know people that do that. If you're in a studio, no big deal. That's, just, because you're not carrying them around. But if you want to gig doing that, God bless you for carrying 2 big heavy amplifiers around. I wouldn't want to do it. That's not the way I like to. I like to be minimalistic when I travel. So I wouldn't want to carry around 2 big heavy amps. But you certainly can do it. And if you have a favorite, guitar amp that you really, really like, and a good bass amp that you really like, and you want to split it off, then you can certainly do that.
What about acoustic amps? Dan Nation said acoustic amps should be able to handle the K24 as well. Is that accurate, or?
Yeah, I mean, we used to use a Fender Acoustasonic SFX, and it was really nice sounding. And some of the acoustic guitar amps do play deep. I would recommend that certainly over like an electric guitar amp. Some of them do, but I still don't feel like most of them really, have that really, really deep bass that the K24 can produce. So again, I would still stick with either a PA system or a keyboard amplifier for the Harpejji K24. Okay?
Yep.
All right, so comment with your ideas on the next Live Friday that we're going to do in September. We'd love to hear your ideas. And by the way, we've had a lot of improvements in the shop too, and we'll probably give you a little tour of that next time. We're really starting to bring a lot more of our stuff in-house rather than contracting a lot of the things out. I guess in closing, did I forget anything? Anybody?
Mention the
Okay.
Amp again.
the Harpejji and the amp deal.
Okay, so we have a deal of going, again, we're still live, so you still have one more chance to either like, share, or comment about this live video. There's a $25 gift card to Guitar Center, which we're going to send to you if you get picked in the drawing just by liking, sharing, or commenting on Instagram or Facebook. Your name goes in a hat, and the winner gets that mailed to them. And again, we have the offer. If you purchase a Harpejji K24 or G16 starting now in the next 24 hours, you're going to get a free Behringer KXD15 amplifier sent to you. And if you buy a Harpejji U12 in the next 24 hours, then the Korg Pitch Black Tuner we're going to send to you for free. So those are pretty cool deals. We hope that you take advantage of it. And I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Again, tell us what you want to see in September, and have a great Friday.